Back again. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Christy's Corner. No, that's my channel name. Welcome to Magical Makeup with Christy. And today it's with Lena talking vacation recap. So we're going to have fun. I'm going to do makeup. She's going to talk about a recap of vacation. And
eat Cheez-Its.
And eat Cheez-Its. And if we still have time, maybe we'll go over the Festival of the Arts stuff, because that started 2 days ago. And I've already been going through the list, seeing what I wanted to try while I'm there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
So we'll just get started and
Okay.
have a conversation. So if anybody has any questions for Lena about her vacation and her experiences, she did a couple of them that are exclusive to the time of year. So you could always ask her questions and she could answer.
Yeah.
She spent a long time there. I was like, where is she? Why is she still gone? I knew she was gone.
I actually had people message me, are you ever coming back?
I know,
like,
right?
Did you guys move there? Like, did you move and not tell anybody?
You were there for a while.
About 3 weeks.
Hi, Cool Gamer. Hi, Christine. Welcome in.
Hey.
I mean, that's a long vacation, so yeah.
It was long. It was the longest trip that we've taken to date.
That's exciting. So, kick it off, girl. Let's hear it.
All right. So, I think every vacation starts with some kind of drama. And yes. Ours happened to be that on Wednesday, literally, because we still had school on the 21st. And
you're talking about
December.
How you had to get there before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was literally standing in the classroom I worked with, and like people had been asking me all morning, like, aren't you worried about your flights? I'm like, no, it's gonna be fine. Like, it's like I checked in this morning, like the weather's not supposed to be that bad. Like, it's gonna be fine. So literally, like at noon, like just as they're like releasing the kids for break, I get a text alert from Delta that our flight Thursday from Wichita to Atlanta has been canceled. And I'm like, what? So I'm like trying to like do 5,000 different things to get out the door. And my dad picked me up and I'm like, Dad, we need to stop by Sam. I told Dad what's going on. And I'm like, I need to stop by Sam's work and I need to talk to him. I'm like, I typically don't try to bother Sam at work because it is just that it's work. But, so I stopped and I told I know he's busy, but I really need to talk to Sam real quick. So Sam came out and I told him, Sam, our flight tomorrow's been canceled. And he's like, what? And so we kind of had a couple different options. There was no more flights out of Wichita on Delta Wednesday night even. And so I'm like, there's one flight from Wichita to Dallas that gets us into Dallas at like 9:00 tonight, but the connection flight from Dallas to Orlando doesn't leave until 9:00 tomorrow morning.
So it would be an overnight stay.
Right.
Yeah.
So another flight ticket on top of the ticket that we'd already, like the tickets that we purchased last July.
Yeah.
And so Sam's like, you know what? We're going to drive. He's like, have the luggage outside ready to go. We will throw it in the car. I'll change clothes and we will get in the car and we're going to get ahead of this storm. So
did you get your refund from Delta though?
Yes. So I'm at home pacing the house, like, cause this is like 12. This is about 1:00. By the time I get home, I was probably talked to Sam for about 15 to 20 minutes. And Sam apologized to the owner of the shop. And they're like, it's not like she's in here bugging you every day. This is, it's something that you did need to get figured out. It's fine. No big deal.
Yeah. It's circumstantial. Like,
right. And, but like, I felt bad that I had to do it. And Sam felt bad that it took time away from his work. But I'm pacing around and Sam's like, you need to figure out what we're doing with these flights. And so I went in and I hit cancel flight. And I figured that the only option it was going to give me was to get e-credit. But because Delta had canceled a portion of our flight, it gave me the option for a review of the circumstances for a full refund. So
That's
of
good.
course, I clicked that one. I filled in the information, and it said that I would have an answer between 7 to 30 days, which I'm like, okay, you know, fair enough. They're dealing with a lot right now. And so I told Sam, I'm like, look, like there's a potential that we're going to get this refunded. And Sam's like, well, that's great. How, like, when will we know? I go 7 to 30 days. He's like, well, you know, that is what it is. So about 3, I literally was pacing around the house like the rest of the afternoon, like freaking out. And I knew that me freaking out in the car would be the worst thing to go. So I did something that I typically do not condone doing. I took a dose of NyQuil.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
And I'm like, okay, if I take this now, about 3:15, I will knock out in about a half an hour. It will be a positive all around. So Sam, God bless him. We were both awake at 3 a.m. that morning because we were so excited that it was the day before we were heading out on vacation, which ended up the day we left for vacation. He worked a 10-hour day, and then we drove literally straight through to Florida. The only time we stopped for something other than food or gas was the very last stop in Tennessee, last rest stop in Tennessee, right before you hit the state line. And Sam went to the bathroom and took a half an hour nap. And that was like about 4 o'clock Thursday morning.
I mean, wait, which state line? Because if you've ever noticed, you drive out of Tennessee into Georgia.
Right, you go out,
there's
back.
Like 2 exits, and then you come back into Tennessee.
It was the one after you went out and come back in, and you're before you go out the final time.
Oh, okay.
Because
isn't that weird?
It cracks me up, but we always know when we go out and back in, that at that point is where it changes time zones.
Yeah, that's correct. No,
yes.
It depends because it changes time zones in Chattanooga too, and that is before you go out and back in. But then you go back into the central time zone and then back out. It's weird.
It is. It's very weird. But we know that it flips when we hit Marion County, which is really funny because we live in Marion County, Kansas. But Sam took a half an hour nap, and then the ETA was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're like, awesome, great. And then we hit Atlanta. I hate Atlanta. I don't care what time of day you're going through Atlanta. Atlanta is horrible.
The only time that it's not horrible is 2 o'clock in the morning. That one little hour between 1 and 2 o'clock, that's it. The rest is work traffic starts at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, and like literally from Atlanta to right outside of Orlando, it was just red the whole time. We ended up not getting into to All-Star Music until 6 p.m. And like you're looking around like, why are we so stalled? Why is it so slow? And it's like, quit looking at the birds, quit watching for cloud shapes, quit looking at the rain on the windshield, and just drive your car.
It's just so congested in that area. And even though they have that fast breezeway area, it's still majorly congested.
It really is.
So let me ask.
Sure.
All-Star Music. So I've stayed at Pop, but I have avoided the All-Star resorts because I feel like there's always a bunch of school groups there, and it's really, really crowded and a lot of just noise. Now, that's just my perception of it from other people's reviews. I've not actually stayed there. So what is your take on it currently?
Well, we have stayed at All-Star. We have now officially stayed at all 3 All-Stars because we were able to the night before the expo for Run Disney, we were able to grab a one-night stay at All-Star Sports because we wanted to be able to sleep in a little bit more because we were staying over at Cabana Bay by that point, and utilize the race transportation. because then we didn't have to worry about our car or anything else like while we were doing the run. And so I personally think that the All-Stars are great, especially for us when we are staying a longer period of time. And there's other things that we want to do, especially around the holidays. Like, they don't have some of the bigger trees, like say Pop or even some of the moderates or deluxes have, but they have some really unique decorations. Like they have big wreaths with they had wreaths with different musical instruments in them. The rooms are pretty much the same as Pop. We ended up in a handicap accessible room, so we felt like we were giants in this like miniaturized room. Like literally the bed came up to our knee. It was just like, okay, you can handle anything for a week, you know. Yeah. And it's not like it was bad. It was just like, okay. It was a king size bed though, so I mean that was nice. But yeah. To me, the food court is a lot bigger at All Star Music. I feel like at Pop, because we did go over to Pop to hang out for a little bit. It feels like the food court at Pop is very squished together.
It is really small.
Like, it's really small. It's really squished together. Whereas well,
at least compared to the one other food court I'd been in, which was Coronado Springs, and that one's actually really big.
All Star Music's food court is actually really big. They have your, you know, your different sections for the food court. Then they have seating right behind the registers. And then you probably walk 20 steps from the registers over to the beverage area. And the beverage area is dual-sided. It kind of reminds me of like going to like a cafeteria. Okay. And then there's probably another 200 or 300 seating behind there.
Yeah, that sounds big. From experience at Pop Century during the pandemic, we couldn't find seating hardly at all during the pandemic when at Pop. Mm-hmm. It's much smaller than, well, I don't know about All Stars, but from like Coronado Springs food court.
Obviously, the food court at Pop Century is bigger than, like, say, Captain Cook's at the Poly. But, I mean, like, you've got a total of, 10 tables max inside of there. But there's a lot of outdoor seating. Yeah. And Captain Cook's is at the Poly. I don't know if I said that or not.
Yeah, yeah. But those deluxe resorts, they don't really, per se, have food courts. They have more, like, quick service that has 3 different sections that have almost the exact same stuff.
Right. It's like grab and go.
Yeah.
I would say that to be quite honest, we enjoy, like, we went to Pop, like I said, in the middle of our trip to kind of go check out the Christmas decorations and whatnot. And it like you could tell the difference, like size wise of the food court, because you felt like you were doing this instead of like being able to feel like you had space from someone else.
Yeah.
They remodel the rooms, and other than like obviously ours, is the same as Pop Century, with the one queen, then the Murphy pull down bed that's either the bed or like the table with chairs. So really, other than, you know, the fact that like Pop or Art of Animation has the Skyliner, there's really not a lot of difference between the All Stars and Pop and AOA anymore.
Yeah.
And as far as like your question with like groups, we didn't really experience too much problems with groups. The buses, first thing in the morning were separate. Like sports, music, and movies all had their own buses in the morning and at night. In the afternoons is typically when they would combine buses, but the buses were really pretty regular.
Okay. So, have you ever stayed at a Good Neighbor resort?
Yes. Our very first trip, we stayed back in 2014. We stayed at, it's now the Rosen on International is I think what it's called, but it was the Clarion Lake Buena Vista when we stayed there. It was about, probably 10 minutes away from property? Yeah. It's roughly about 10 minutes away from property. And it was nice, but I 100%, and now especially since they have reversed the decision of charging for parking on property. Thank you, Bob Iger, for that, by the way.
Well, they'll probably bump the prices up in ticket and like hotels for that.
Probably, but at least of right now, it hasn't. So,
it's going to save me like $350 on my trip.
Right. And I think that's what like the end result is that they're realizing that people will spend that money. Whether it's they'll stay an extra night or they will eat at a signature restaurant or another character meal, or they'll buy more merchandise if they have that money to spend, as opposed to having to spend it on parking.
Yep.
Our parking overall between our stay at Elfster Music and then our one night at Sports was $165 for parking. And so for us, that's a character meal plus tip, plus a tip, or that's more merchandise to bring home or something, but for, that could be like an extra night depending on where you're staying and what time of year.
Yeah.
So we stopped at Buc-ee's for the very first time Thursday morning. We had to get gas anyway, and it was probably like at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Maybe close. Yeah, probably 4 or 5, somewhere in there. We went to Buc-ee's for the first time. Sam was really excited because he got eggnog. I got their iced coffee. They have a really nice iced coffee bar. They have dedicated iced coffee brewed. You don't have to like get hot coffee and put it over ice. They have a dedicated machine. It's like little pebble ice that's specifically for the iced coffee. And then they have a creamer syrups, like caramel type syrups, and then like the flavor syrups for your coffees. That's all that's no additional charge. I think it's all it's oat milk brands, and it was good. Like I've never had just a purely plant-based creamer before, and it was actually really tasty and really good.
We stopped at a Buc-ee's for our first time on our way back from Dollywood when we went at Christmas time. It is kind of like
it's overwhelming.
It's something, right?
If you've never been to Buc-ee's or you don't know what Buc-ee's is like a gas station on steroids.
You know what it reminds me of? Have you ever driven on the toll road from New Jersey to New York, and how they have in the center, they'll have stops for you to get gas and things like that because you're on a toll road?
So, no, but I've stopped at the ones in Florida between Orlando and Miami.
I don't know if they're the same, but the ones in Jersey, it's like a shopping mall almost.
Yeah, it's the same way down there. Yeah, it kind of does remind you of that. They're known for their brisket. It wasn't bad. We ended up eating it. We grabbed sandwiches on our way home. So on our route, like once we jump off of 75 and end up on I-4, however that works, there's 2 Buc-ee's on our route. There's one like before we get to Atlanta, like coming like down towards Florida, and there's one like around the Valdosta area. And we stopped at the one coming back, at the one outside of Valdosta. because for something to eat. And I know this is kind of jumping around, but no, well.
Oh, that's fine, because I keep asking questions that's making me jump.
That's all right. And we got the chopped brisket sandwiches, and they were like, they have all kinds of different condiments except for barbecue sauce. They sell a Buc-ee's barbecue sauce. So, but what we didn't realize until we got into the car is that they pre-sauce the sandwiches. They don't. What I liked about that was that like it wasn't like soupy. Like so like if you go to McDonald's and you get a hamburger, you know how like the ketchup and mustard's just like running everywhere out of your hamburger. This wasn't like that. It was like they put like they put just enough barbecue sauce where you could taste it, and it kind of held the meat together in the sandwich, but not enough that like you had to worry about eating it in the car. So if you get one of their sandwiches, it comes with the barbecue sauce on it. And like I said, we did buy a bottle of the barbecue sauce to try. They also have Buc-ee's brands of hot sauce. Sam and I talked about, like, we didn't end up buying any on this trip, but I think we talked about the fact we're going to get a couple different ones when we drive back down in July and be able to do like a taste test when we get home.
July is when they're having the travel agency meeting thing, isn't it?
The end of June.
End of June. Oh, that one's in Disneyland.
Yeah, this year it's in Disneyland, and it's only 2 days.
I will not go to that because I'll be at Disneyland in March.
Right. It's Sam and I talked about it. We even talked about it while we were in Florida because of timing. Right before or right around Thanksgiving, they announced some new changes to how employees get PTO, and because Sam has been there so long, he ends up with a little bit more PTO. Plus, they are now closing the shop where he works the week of Christmas and the week of the 4th of July. So we're able to stretch Sam's PTO to do a little bit longer trips, which we're both like really excited about because we don't have to worry about it so much. Like making sure that he has enough PTO for, if he doesn't feel well, if his MS gives him a flare or whatnot, we can stretch it out a little bit more. So we yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh yeah, Disneyland. So we're like, well, we can do it one of two ways. We can either go the week before the 4th, like do the week before and then the week of the 4th of July and come home that weekend, or we can do it like I think it's like the 1st through the 15th or something of July, like the week of the 4th and the week after. So you will just have to wait on the trip announcement video to see what we ended up picking. And FYI, this trip is going to be photo montage videos. Something that I don't think a lot of people realize or understand. Excuse me, the Celsius is kind of getting to me this morning. When you work at a school, and especially in the job that I do, when you work with kids with special needs and whatnot, you have to be on all the time. You never, like, you can't, like, they notice, like, if you look a little bit sad, like, they freak out. So you always have to have a smile. You always have to be, all the time. And so I really took vacation. I took a ton of pictures. And Sam and I plan to talk about kind of the days, and then you'll get a photo montage at the end. But I really, really enjoyed just being able to enjoy vacation instead of feeling like I had to be behind the camera the whole time.
Yeah.
But in July, we will do regular vlogs. I still have hundreds of photos on my phone, because we still have to get some of those videos. We have all those videos yet to record. We've only been home a week, so we're still not even really unpacked yet. We got in but going back to the day we got there, we got in at 6. We got in at 6, and we ended up just grabbing something from the food court and crashing because Sam had been awake for over 24 hours. You know, he was ready. He was so tired. He was so ready for just sleep. So
I get it.
I was the lucky
guys before. Well, mine's a 12-hour drive. That was what, 16 hours?
Ours is 24.
24 hours.
It's like, according to Google Maps, it's 21 hours and some random minutes. But when you add in
time change and traffic.
Right. Time change, traffic, stopping for food, gas, bathroom. Yeah. Him and Hod, actually, if we were going to stop at the Welcome Center in Florida. And I'm really glad that we did, because it was a good way to get out, stretch our legs, and kind of feel like we had finally, like, we had arrived, even though you're still like 6 hours away at that point. Like, you feel like you're there.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things that I did, I collected little things and made little gift bags for my students.
Oh, nice.
And one of the things at the rest stop was they had these stickers, and it was the shape of Florida, and it said "Follow your own sunshine." And I thought that was just beautiful. Follow your own sunshine. Be your own person. Because one of the things that we're talking about is that you are your own unique person. You don't have to be just like somebody else. You don't have to be special. You don't have to have the newest clothes or the coolest clothes or, whatever. And so I like that little saying on that sticker really, really that spoke to me. And what I thought was it almost made me cry. So I finally got those into them Wednesday or Thursday. And on Friday, I noticed one of the girls who carries a water bottle, and she decorates it with stickers. She had that sticker on her water bottle.
Aww.
And so I'm like, it must have really, touched, resonated with her as well, because I gave them a lot of stickers. Like, every time you turn around at Disney, they're offering you more stickers.
Yeah.
And it's not just, here's a sticker. Like, they'll hand you, a stack of stickers an inch thick. I knew, worst case scenario, I would bring them home a bag full of stickers on vacation. And so, that was great. For our first couple park days, we were in Epcot for the Festival of the Holidays. And we tried lots of food. Sam wanted Yorkshire fish shop. And so he got the fish and chips. And they used to, the fish, you still got 2 pieces of fish, but they were smaller than what you would get inside, at Rose and Crown. But it looks like they're using the same fish now from Rose and Crown, because these were massive pieces of fish. I'm pulling up the pictures I took on my phone to remember what to talk about. They haven't remodeled all of the rooms at Sports yet, even though it was closed forever. I don't understand it. Anyway, they have the interactive TVs now at Music. And so when we got into our room, this is what was on our TV screen.
Oh, nice.
So that was really cool. And then when you hit OK, it went to this screen. It said hello Hall family, the temperature, all that kind of stuff. So that was really cool that they've started doing the interactive TVs there. Let's see. We were able to, you guys know, if we it's almost hard for us to do a video of our dining reservations because they consistently change. So we ended up being able to grab a Cape May Cafe character breakfast, like the morning that we were there that morning. So we did Soren, we did Soren, and then we walked over out the back gate to Beach Club, and we had breakfast that Kate made, which was awesome. And we had a great waitress. She brought me 10 extra of the photo signature cards for the kids at school. And from there we were stuffed. We were really glad that we had theme parks to walk around because we were so full. We listened to we were right outside of the Japan Pavilion, and the drummers were out, and we walked through Mitsukoshi. I got some incense and a little incense burner. Did we get this in China or in Japan?
Japan.
We were in House of Good Fortune, and it's in this box, but we saw a dragon incense burner and it reminded me a lot of Howard, and so Sam got that for me. And one of the kids that I work with, like, we didn't know what he was like. We thought he was just saying letters and sounds, but he's been watching Japanese cartoons on YouTube. And we were watching the parade, and I go, wait, what did they just say? And Sam goes, well, he said some anime character from Japan. I go, the kid I work with says that all the time. We thought he was saying gibberish, but he's actually talking apparently in Japanese. And at the Kid Cot station, they had a sign, and it said, did you know Japanese is a phonetic language, which means they go by sound, not by how something is spelled, which is why he picks up on it, because he hears it repetitively and is able to pick up on the phonetic sounds. And I thought that was just so interesting that he picks up Japanese, but we can't get him to talk in English.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah, it was really neat. Then we were coming around the China Pavilion just as the Chinese Dragon came up. And so it was really cool. We got to watch the Chinese Dragon dance, and I got a couple of videos of that. And I took a little picture of one of the dragons, and it said the Chinese dragons, aka Lung, is one of the 4 auspicious beasts in Chinese culture. It is a symbol of power, strength, and good luck. So liked that. Then we tried a couple of different foods at the China Pavilion. We got the chicken skewer with sauce, and I got the spring rolls with the citrus sauce. The chicken skewer was okay. It wasn't great. The spring rolls were really good, but the sauce you could tell had been setting on the spring rolls for a little bit, so it made them a little mushy. So if I were to order them again, I'd probably, when I went up there, say, I would like some without sauce on them, and maybe get the sauce on the side, because the sauce was really good. It just made the egg rolls a little soggy.
Yeah, sauce on the side. That makes sense.
Yep. And then, of course, I talked about stories. Sam had the fish and chips. Sam's always really nice about it. I can't have fish. So he always, we always get an extra little of the paper boats, and he puts some of the fries from like the side or the bottom in it so that I can eat them. We spent about half a day in Epcot. It was so cold, like up until the last couple of days we were at Disney before we switched over to Universal. So we were like, I was so happy I had gloves and sweatshirts and jeans. Like and you could tell, like, we were bundled up, but you could tell who was from Florida because they looked like the little kid in A Christmas Story where he's like got layers and is like walking like you could tell who was from Florida. And we rode the monorail to the TTC, from Epcot to the TTC, and then we got on the monorail, Resort Monorail, and headed to the Grand to take pictures there and to see the gingerbread house. The lines for gingerbread were so super long. It was crazy, but it was really neat. We got to see a wedding. Like, somebody got married right in front of the gingerbread house.
Oh, nice.
So I thought that was kind of unique. It was really funny to me. When we were there in July, we stayed in the jazz section both times over the summer in a preferred, like right on the end. And then we were in a standard in the jazz section. Over the summer, the fountain in the jazz section wasn't running, but when it's freezing cold outside, the fountain was running.
Maybe it's under some refurbishment or something.
It made me laugh. And so that night, Sam actually surprised me with a sleigh ride out at Fort Wilderness Campgrounds. And it's called an Enchanting Extra, and you can book them at 60 days out. You can either take a bus to Fort, like if you're at one of the parks or something, you can take a bus to Fort Wilderness, and then they have like a bus stop station, and then they have like an internal bus system that you have to use. And we needed the bus that went to Pioneer Hall, where like Trails End and stuff is. And so we got on that. We didn't know where we were supposed to be going because they really didn't give Sam any information. So we are like, I said, well, maybe we should drive. And because we know we can park in there because we have this reservation. Something to note, during the haul, normally you can just like go and park at a resort, like, and check out like the decorations or whatever. But starting around Thanksgiving, they really cut off that because some of the resorts don't have a whole lot of parking available, and they want to make sure that the guests who are staying there have the parking. But if you have a reservation, you have roughly about 3 hours to be parked there. So we drove from All-Star Music over to Fort Wilderness, and we went up to the security didn't know we were supposed to go. So we parked and we went up to the front desk and we asked, and they go, okay, well, you need to get on the bus for Pioneer Hall, and from there you need to go to the horse stables, and that's where you'll find it. And we actually went the wrong direction initially, but we came across a couple cast members and we're like, hey, this is where we're trying to go. Do you know where we're supposed to go? And they're like, oh yeah, we'll walk you over there. So we chatted with them, and that was great. And we were actually about like 45 minutes to an hour-ish early for our carriage ride, but we were actually the last carriage ride of the night, and people had been coming early because it was so cold. So they're like, we can get you on right now. And we're like, awesome. So it was really cool. They took some pictures for us. I posted them on my Instagram. I was very sad because you could not, they are working horses similar to like the dogs in the airport. You cannot pet the horses. I was very sad. They provided a blanket for us to use on the carriage. And this particular carriage could have held 4 people. So that's nice. And then they take you around some of the more decorated campsites. This is one campsite. Like they go all out to decorate these campsites. If you are able to, you can drive around and look at them. You just can't rent like golf carts or anything unless you're staying there. But I highly recommend going around and checking out the decorations because like some of these people go all out. One of the campsites even had hot chocolate for people who were coming around and gave out candy canes and all kinds of stuff. So it's if you have never went out and checked out the campgrounds at holidays, and they do the same thing at Halloween. They do big trick-or-treating stuff out there. Highly recommend going out and doing that. So what look are you going for today?
It's a Valentine look.
Okay. So the next day, Christmas Eve, we actually booked a brand new event that was going on at Maria and Enzo's. It was called Breakfast with Santa. And it's something, and we actually got the very last like day of it. It started being offered on Saturdays and Sundays, starting at Thanksgiving, and it wasn't super expensive. It was really fairly decently priced. The menu, it was breakfast, and this is stuff that was on the table when we got there. Breakfast pastries with butter, jam, and cream cheese. They had a yogurt parfait with berries and granola, seasonal fruit, and berries. And that was all on the table when we got there. And then they brought, once you met Santa, so for us, we paid for the preferred seating because that's what it was. It was like a difference of like $2 or $3. But preferred, by the time we looked at it, we're trying to make a decision, and by the time we went back to book it, all that was left was preferred. But it actually worked out pretty well because we were one of like the first 10 or 15 tables to go through and see Santa. And once you saw us, while you were waiting to meet Santa, you ate like the pastries and the yogurt and the fruit and stuff. And then once you saw Santa, they brought you the hot food, which was scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, and tater tots, along with pancakes. The people who were standard seating got that all like right at the beginning because the preferred seating saw Santa first and then standard seating. And then the options for drinks were coffee, tea, juice, or hot chocolate. And I got hot chocolate and orange juice, and Sam got coffee and orange juice. And then each person 21 and older got a complimentary mimosa, but you could also purchase bottomless mimosas or Bellinis for $18 per person. And Sam took they made their mimosas with prosecco and orange juice, and Sam didn't care for it. So I ended up drinking both his and mine, and that was plenty for me. Plenty for me. They had some carolers. Here's what my hot chocolate looks like. It was really cool. They decorated it with like hot whipped cream and sprinkles and stuff. It was nice. It was fun. Sometimes when you like get eggs, I feel like they're kind of runny. These are actually pretty good. They were pretty firm. They weren't runny eggs, so that was nice. After that, we kind of wandered around Disney Springs a little bit, and we tried something we went to Ghirardelli's for hot chocolate. And I will tell you, if it is cold weather and you are in Disney Springs, go to Ghirardelli's, get their hot chocolate. It is the best hot chocolate. It will ruin you for every other hot chocolate after. It's super rich, super thick, super creamy, and it is amazing. After we went there, we went to Amorette's. We have never been to Amorette's. I've heard so many people say, "Oh my gosh, it's too expensive."
It's expensive, but very good.
It's about the same price to me as Gideon's, and it's because like their pastries are $9, and a cookie at Gideon's is like $6 or $7. So it's roughly the same price. The little miniature cakes are like a cup, like $22. But to me, it was well worth it. When we were there one evening, because we drove over from Cabana Bay to go to Disney Springs. It was on our Volcano Bay day. We went over to Disney Springs in the evening for dinner and to kind of wander around a little bit. And we stopped by because like we didn't see the line was very long for Gideon's, and like, well, we'll grab a cookie, and maybe we've just gotten like bad cookies. The virtual wait, and this was at 6 p.m., was 6 hours.
What?
At 6 p.m., the virtual wait was 6 hours.
I must have just been lucky the one time I went because I waited in line for like 10 minutes. There was no virtual.
I looked at the girl and I went, "No, really?" And she goes, "We're very popular." Like she it kind of talked to me in that like "you're stupid" kind of voice. I'm like,
it's not very nice.
Like, I'm sorry, Gideon's is not that good. Like, I would rather pay for Amorette's than Gideon's. And so we walked over to Amaret's and we got a couple treats to take back with us to the room. But I'm like, it's 6 p.m. That means the people who are sitting here at 6, like, they are going to be waiting till at least midnight to get called into the virtual queue. Not even the fact that they still have to wait to get in. They have to wait in the line, then wait inside. These people probably weren't getting their cookies until at least 2 a.m.
I don't know how I ended up getting so lucky on that one. No virtual queue, and the line was just a couple minutes long.
I'm like, I literally thought the girl was like messing with me. 6 hours. But we tried a couple of different things. At Amaret's, we tried the brownie, which was really good. We got a couple seasonal things. Sam got the cheesecake, and he got like a little key lime tart. I got the traditional Mickey Mousse, and I got the hot chocolate ornament, and it was all very good. And we always got it packaged to go so that we could take it with us. And they package everything so, like, you feel fancy walking around Disney Springs with this bag, because I swear I never have to buy tissue paper again, because like the stack of tissue paper is like this thick that they shove in there in a couple of different spots. And I'm like, you never need to buy tissue paper again. Just go buy Amaret's, and get it to go. And so that's kind of, we've said that we're definitely going to be stopping at Amaret's going forward on our trips. On that Saturday, we had originally had plans to go to Epcot, and then we changed our Epcot reservation to another day. And then we were kind of done walking around Disney Springs. And I'm like, do you want to go? We were driving back from Disney Springs to the resort because when we were there in July, the PhotoPass photographer was like, oh my gosh, the 23rd and the 24th is when, all of the stuff at the resorts goes on for like the holiday stuff. So we expected tons of things going on, and there wasn't. So be prepared for that, I guess, if you go around that time. But so we decided to go ahead and switch our reservation for Epcot back to that day. So we parked the car, stopped and dropped off we left our stuff in the car, grabbed other stuff, and got on the bus. Like, it was literally boom, boom, boom going to Epcot. We had lunch at Regal Eagle. We both had the brisket sandwich. Sam had the mac and cheese, and I had the onion rings. Regal Eagle has some of the best onion rings, I think, on property. And then we got the baked beans to share. It seemed to be a little bit better in July, but we were also there right at like it opens around noon, and we didn't have lunch until about 1:30. So I think it's freshest like right when they open. So if you're wanting to eat lunch at Regal Eagle, definitely do it like when they first open. From there, we rode on Soarin'. We were really it said it was like an hour and a half wait, and cast members were going, it's about an hour and a half wait. Are you okay waiting that long? And I'm thinking, it's freezing cold outside. I'm inside in line where I can stand and read a book. I'm good, It's warm in here. So we rode Soarin', and then Sam there was a item on the over by Test Track that Sam really wanted, and it was fire roasted chestnuts, and Sam was really excited and said they were pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. Sam was I'm like, do you want another bag? He's
roasting on an open fire.
And he's like, no, you don't want to eat too many of them because they can make you go to the bathroom a lot. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So we kind of wandered around and went back to the resort. And in the evening, they were handing out the pre-packaged little chocolate chip cookies that you would get in a kid's meal. And they were passing out 2 or 3 to each person as they were walking around. And so that was Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, we were when dining reservations for. Going back a little bit. So over the summer, they announced that Winnie the Pooh would start meeting again at Crystal Palace instead of it just being open without the characters. And so we were like, what we want to have Christmas breakfast with Winnie the Pooh and friends. And I swear that Christmas Day was the coldest day that we were there. It was absolutely freezing. So we had breakfast with Winnie the Pooh and friends. Then we did a lot of indoor stuff. We did the Philhar Magic. Typically, I get kind of panicky if there's too many people, like it, right? Because like they really shove you in to the space because it is a pretty big auditorium. But you know, that day I'm like, let's all like band together because it's cold. Lena is cold. So we did that. We went on Journey of the Little Mermaid. We did Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. And then we headed over to Pecos for lunch. And right when we came out of Pecos, we caught the Once Upon a Christmas Time parade. So up until the last Christmas party, they will still show Festival of Fantasy parade at noon and then at 3. But once the last Christmas party is over, the very next day, the parade switches from Festival of Fantasy to the Christmas parade. And so we were able to catch the Christmas parade there. We couldn't really decide what we wanted to do for dinner. Like I said, we changed plans on a consistent basis, and I think it's going to end up being worse now that you can cancel your dining reservations 3 hours in advance, same day, without being charged instead of like by midnight the night prior. So we decided Sam was able to grab a Whispering Canyon cafe dinner on Christmas, and they had a special menu for Christmas Day. And so we were I'm telling you, it was cold. So we went over to, I was sitting in the lobby of Wilderness Lodge, still in my gloves, still in my sweatshirt, and I got a cup of hot apple cider and I was resting my nose on it because my nose was frozen. I posted that picture on Instagram, actually. But we sat in there for several hours and kind of just hung out, relaxed, and was where it was warm. We had dinner, and and I took some really neat pictures and stuff of, I was on TikTok and they were talking about how to take different pictures using portrait mode. And like, it really kind of like, it blurs some of the background and focuses on certain pictures. And so I really liked how some of the different pictures I took turned out. Like, this is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love using portrait mode.
So, and then the dinner for Christmas menu the starter was cornbread with honey butter, which I think is pretty standard. And then they had a house salad, which had dried cranberries, seed brittle, and cranberry poppy seed vinaigrette. I am not a huge vinaigrette person. I don't like how it tastes, but that vinaigrette was so good. And then it was an all-you-could-eat skillet. It had smoked turkey, moonshine glazed ham, sausages, maple chipotle ribs, apple cornbread stuffing, gravy, green beans, buttered corn, cranberry relish, and smashed potatoes. And then they also did have a plant-based holiday skillet if you wanted that. And for dessert, you got a little sampler. It had a peppermint flourless chocolate cake, eggnog cheesecake, and gingerbread spiced cake. And it was very good. Dinner was very, very good. We were in a different spot for us. Whispering Canyon kind of has at the very back, you kind of pass it. If you come off the boat and you come up like the ramp into that little area, it's pretty much the lobby. There's like, it looks like somebody's back porch there, and that's where we were seated this time. And you don't get a lot of the antics back there, or at least we didn't Christmas Day. So if you don't know, Whispering Canyon is very much, it has a shtick. If you ask for ketchup, they're gonna scream, "We need ketchup," and like 50,000 people will bring you bottles of ketchup. If you drink all of your drink like your soda really fast, they will bring it to you in a half-gallon mason jar. If you drink all that, they give you a fast pass to the bathroom. There is a shtick. Please be aware when you are booking it that there is a shtick. If you do not want the shtick, Trails End pretty much serves the same style of menu without the antics. So
I like the antics.
I do too. When we were there over July, there was a family sitting kind of behindish side of us, and one of the children you could tell was autistic because he kept covering his ears and he was really like scrunched up. And I asked, he finally left, and I asked him, I go, is everything okay? And she goes, well, our travel agent booked this for us and said that we'd really like it. And I'm like, seriously? Like, why would you do that to someone?
Did they know that their kid was autistic?
I don't know, but you would think that would be information that the parent would like provide. Like, hey, yeah, at least I would hope. But I'm like, it just that bug. I felt really bad for them because like it's just the shtick is fun, but there are people who won't like it. And then at Whispering, so if you're wanting more of a quiet meal, maybe ask if the back porch area is available. But the salad was super good. Here's a picture of what the salad looked like. It was nice to have like just a fresh, refreshing salad while we were there.
Yeah.
And then this was the skillet that they brought. And then like, if you really like, say, the corn or the sausage, they will come back and say, is there anything else that we can bring you more of? And you can tell them, oh, well, we want more mashed potatoes. We want more green beans. We want more corn. And they will bring you.
At Ohana.
Yes, it's pretty much the same way as they do it at Ohana. And this was the dessert trio. The peppermint flourless cake was really good.
Is it one dessert trio that you share with everybody, or you?
Nope. Each person got their own dessert trio. So I gave Sam my eggnog cheesecake, and he gave me his peppermint flourless cake. So from there, we decided to go back to Magic Kingdom, and I'm really glad that we did because we got some great night shots. And just as we passed by the tree, it started to snow on Main Street. And so it was great. It was a great way to end Christmas Day in Magic Kingdom.
Snow. Who doesn't love snow?
The 26th, we did Living with the Land again. We kind of wandered around. It was another Epcot day. That was a day where we did a lot of eating. Like, we did so much eating that day.
Festival
eating.
Yeah.
We ate in Canada. We ate in Morocco. One of the things that we had been wanting to try for a long time was the chicken skewers from Tangerine Cafe in Morocco. We were really disappointed in the chicken kebab. It just wasn't great. But we got the naan bread with the 3 dips, and that bread, like, it was so good. So good. And we also got the Christmas cider flight from Morocco. It had a cranberry hard cider, winter chill hard cider, and mad bark hard cider. I really liked the cranberry hard cider. It kind of reminded me of the grapefruit beer in Germany. And of course, Sam was like, that's not up my alley. That's a little too fruity for me. Sam got the sushi tree in Japan and really enjoyed it.
I've had the sushi tree before. It's good.
By that point, like, we were actually getting like fairly hungry for like a sit down meal, and it was going on noon. And so I'm like, well, maybe we have eaten at Nine Dragons one time prior, back in 2017, but it was at the very end of our that was the first time we went for 2 weeks, and we had free dining. And so when you have free dining, you know, all you do is you eat.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty much Lou Mangello says, he was with WDW Radio, great podcast if you're looking for like a Disney podcast. Attractions are things to do between eating. Which is very true when you have free dining. And it was like the very last meal that we ate, and we both have been like, oh my gosh, it was like, I can't believe it, with Lotus Blossom being so good, I can't believe that Nine Dragons is so bad. And I'm like, maybe we need to give this place another shot. So we did, and we were both very, very pleased. We both had the jasmine tea, and it was amazing. You can actually order the tea on Amazon. And our waitress was awesome. She brought me a picture. I thought she was just going to tell me what it was called, but she literally brought out a bag of their tea for me to take a picture of so that I could find it later.
Oh, nice.
The jasmine tea, it was like, I would make a reservation just to have the egg rolls and drink jasmine tea at Nine Dragons. We did it as a walk up right when it opened at noon. So if you're looking for somewhere to go and you don't have reservations and you like Chinese, I would suggest Nine Dragons. Sam had the pepper beef, and I had the kung pao chicken with no peanuts. And then, of course, you cannot be in the Epcot area without picking up something from Beaches and Cream. Something to note about Beaches and Cream. If you do a walk-up, you are not going to get a table. The walk-ups pretty much get the counter. They have a counter around the grill ice cream area, and that's where the walk-up seating goes. If you have a reservation, then you will get seated at a table. So if seating at a table is important to you, look for a reservation. So Sam got the hot fudge sundae, and I had the No Way Jose. And that was my first time having the No Way Jose. And the No Way Jose is chocolate and vanilla ice cream with hot fudge and peanut butter sauce. It's amazing. And there's whipped cream and peanut butter chips and chocolate chips on top. And I plan to make a miniature version that's Weight Watchers friendly for my weight loss channel. Even making it small, the whole thing without whipped cream and without the peanut butter and chocolate chips is 10 points. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I will make that on a weekend when I know I can be home and have some chicken and broccoli. And then, of course, we took more pictures of the decor. We jumped on a bus from Yacht Club and headed over to Magic Kingdom, where we jumped on the monorail and went to the Enchanted Rose. The Enchanted Rose is the lounge bar area at the Grand Floridian. I had their signature drink, and Sam had a mojito. Whenever we're down in Florida, Sam gets on a big mojito kick. Huge one. That night is when we went to Pop for dinner. Then the next day was Magic Kingdom again. And we were going to grab breakfast. We weren't too concerned about, like, a lot of people are like, oh, we've got to be at the front so we can get on Seven Dwarfs, and all we cared about was a cinnamon roll. But Gaston's used to open with pre-park opening. So if like the park opens at 9 and they let resort guests in at 8:30, Gaston's was opening at 8:30, but now it's not opening till park opening. So when we found that out, we rode Small World and then Pirates and then went back. And we got their breakfast sandwich, which was like ham and cheese on like kind of a brioche style roll. And we got a cinnamon roll. But this is what the sandwich looks like.
Oh, yummy.
And then this is a cross section of the sandwich, because, you know, everyone wants to know what it looks like inside.
Yeah.
I'll wait until you look up.
I saw it. I'll look it up and put it up there.
Okay. And then, of course, we had the cinnamon roll, and Sam was really nice and got me hot tea because, again, it's still cold. it was still cold up until the day that we, like, right before we switched over to Universal.
Welcome in, Randy.
Hey, Randy. One of the things that I really wanted to do that day was see the parade. And so we literally sat for like 2.5 hours on Main Street waiting for the parade to even kick off from Frontierland. But we were sitting on the side of on the side of like Casey's Corner, and it was like directly in the sun. It was wonderful. We were in the sun, and like we were like, oh yay, we're warm. And it is crazy. There was like people trying to sit in the middle of the street. There were people who were like pulling their strollers into the middle of the street, thinking that they were going to be able to leave them there for the duration of the parade. I'm like, what is happening? What is wrong? Where is thinking happening? Because it's not happening right now. But we had a really great view for the parade. Got a lot of great pictures for that. Scrolling through all the pictures. And then we did something that I haven't done, but Sam has, is we rode the river steamboat. It's about a 20-minute ride, and it goes like behind Big Thunder and lots of things that you don't really see from just the main park. So if you've never done the riverboat, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. And then we were ready for some dinner, and we were able to grab I think we grabbed it either before we got on the riverboat or like right beforehand, like right when we got off. We got reservations for Liberty Tree Tavern, which again, we have never eaten there before. And again, they had a vinaigrette on their salad, which again was very good. And you can actually find the vinaigrette on Pinterest. And so I plan to make it, I think over the summer, maybe over spring break or something, because it was like I said, I am not a vinaigrette person, and I really did enjoy it. And the ooey gooey toffee cake, I can understand why people book a reservation there for the ooey gooey toffee cake. I would like to see maybe it being able to be offered like over in the quick service, like that's right across, or even maybe offered at Columbia Harbor House for those who don't want to like sit down for a meal at Liberty Tree Tavern but want the ooey gooey toffee cake. And then we did more pictures, and that was kind of the end of that day. And the 28th was our final day at Disney, and we started out the day doing Haunted Mansion. We actually had to rope drop Haunted Mansion because the Haunted Mansion, it was at different points while we were there, the wait was over 2 hours for Haunted Mansion.
Crowded.
It was really crazy. So we rope dropped that, and then I was on the app as we got off, and I'm like, hey, Big Thunder Mountain only has a 20-minute wait. And Sam's like, well, let's go. So we took the bypass over. And if you don't know where the bypass is, you go around Haunted Mansion and you go down on like this little wooden pathway that's like right on the water. You bypass the crowds up top. I think a lot of people use it during the parades, but like you bypass a lot of the traffic, and it kind of spills you out right by Big Thunder. So we come off of the bridge, and there's this massive line of people on the bridge by Splash. I'm like, what line is this for? I'm like, oh, this is for Big Thunder. I'm like, what? What they hadn't done is opened any of the switchbacks yet at Big Thunder. And so I'm like, Sam, it says it's a 30-minute wait. And Sam's like, well, that's fine. No big deal. We haven't ridden it yet. So because it had just been too cold to do a lot of like the faster outdoor rides. So we got in line and they finally opened up some of the switchbacks. So literally all we did was like we kept walking and walking and walking and walking, and we were there. Like I think we only were in line for maybe 10 to 15 minutes. The wait time was definitely wrong. I think the wait time was based on them the cast members were looking at the line and not realizing that the switchbacks weren't open.
Probably.
So from there, we were able to ride Winnie the Pooh, which I thought was like every time I've ridden Winnie the Pooh in the past or tried to ride Winnie the Pooh, it breaks down. And so I felt like I was like jinxed. But we were able to ride Winnie the Pooh, and we were wandering around and talking about what we wanted to do for lunch. And we were talking to cast members, and I was looking at the menu, and we decided to try to find out if I could order, even if it was like a little bit bigger portion off of the kids menu at Be Our Guest. And we were able to get walk-up seating at Be Our Guest for lunch. And I will tell you that we had been really leery of it since when it went to a prefix menu, and we just hadn't eaten there since. But we decided to go ahead and give it a shot, and I'm really glad that we did. The French onion soup, I think, is 10 times better than it was. It was like I last time we were there, my comment, I know because Sam and I were talking about while we were eating, was I wish there was more cheese on this. Like it felt like there just wasn't a whole lot of cheese last time. And this time it was like you never weren't pulling cheese out of this soup. Like I thought it was bread down at the bottom, and it was like big massive chunks of cheese. Like I think 30% of this at least 30% of the ramekin was melted cheese. But the soup was fantastic. They said that the steak has been named the best steak on Disney property now. It outranks steak at Yachtsman. And I can tell you that steak was like butter. It was phenomenal. Sam got the special where they added some lobster to it. Crab. And Sam said it was really good. For dessert, you get a little trio of desserts. And because it was our anniversary, they did bring us the gray stuff in like the form of a little Mickey, which like it was great. They still have not went back to the classic meat with the Beast as they had pre-COVID, where like you would pay, you would take your receipt, you would go get a picture with the Beast and then leave. The Beast comes out, you cannot get up. He walks around and you can take pictures and then he leaves. So that's a little bit of a bummer. It did start warming up on this day because I'm looking at my pictures and I'm in like a cutoff top and with no sweatshirt on. From there we went to the Monsters Inc. laugh floor. We rode the TTA, and they actually were running like a different line. They were running line B into line A, which I thought was really interesting. We had never ridden that route before. After that, we decided to go over to Trader Sam's, but the wait was like, they go, oh, the wait's like an hour. And we're like, okay. So we went outside and we got a couple mocktails that we like off of the kids menu. And I got their dumpling pot sticker things from Trader Sam's menu. And we're like, okay, it's been about an hour. So I went inside and I said, okay, about what is the wait at this point? And we've been waiting about an hour. Like, oh, so it's about an hour. And I go, well, you told me it's about an hour ago. She goes, well, maybe now it's a half an hour. And I'm like, thinking, you have no idea. Especially when the person ahead of me, she told the wait was 4 hours. So we decided not to wait. We decided to go ahead and go back to Magic Kingdom. And I'm so glad that we decided to go in at that point because we got a little bit of a magical moment. Chip, Dale, Daisy, Donald, and Goofy were all meeting in the lobby of the Poly. And so they weren't like, here's this line, here's this line, here's this line. They literally wandered around the lobby, and you literally were chasing down characters in the lobby to get a picture. It was so entertaining to me to be chasing around these characters for a picture. And there was no like line. You just jumped in, got your picture, and kept going. But so I'm glad that we didn't decide to just stick it out and wait out on the patio, the terrace area, because we would have never saw these characters. We went back into Magic Kingdom for a little bit. We were able to catch the tree lighting. We were able to catch the flag lowering ceremony. If you have never experienced the flag ceremony at Magic Kingdom, it's at 5 p.m. every day, and they choose a veteran to help with the ceremony, and then the veteran get to keep the flag from that day, and they get like a special certificate. It's at 5 p.m. every night. Definitely, and go check it out. And then Sam got a Mr. Toad's Wild Ride popcorn bucket, which is something that he's wanted. And they still had them, and he was super excited. We even got some PhotoPass photos with him like showing off his popcorn bucket. They're some of my favorite photos. So that we went back to the room, and we started cleaning stuff up, and we had decorated, and I use the term decorated very, very loosely. We literally hung 2 stockings and some garland in our window, and we got an award from housekeeping for our window decorating.
Oh,
we didn't even know it until we were taking stuff down. So we packed the car, like, other than like the few little things that we needed the following morning, because the 29th is when we switched over to Cabana Bay over at Universal. And I have been talking for an hour. Your turn.
My turn to talk?
Yeah, give me a minute to eat a couple cheeses.
Okay, so I've used Grapho Bind the white. I just dropped my brush. I used the Grapho Bind white to do the white, and I'm using MAC, a MAC pink pod to do the pink.
Okay. So when we decided, you guys know that our vacations are always subject to change. Sam has had so many problems with his ankle since our July trip. And the doctors have all said, oh, it's been different things each time we talk to the doctor. And Sam and I have come to the conclusion that we're 90% sure that he was bit by a spider. And that's where this injury came from. And he wasn't sure like what we weren't sure how it was, because he could hardly walk some days. And it just wasn't getting any better until finally the wound care specialist started taking a look at it, in October? Something like that. And finally they got it cleaned up, but we had to make a decision on what we were doing theme park wise. And so we're like, Universal's pretty like low key, low pace. So we can do Disney, we can do some Universal. So we decided to do Cabana Bay. Now, Cabana Bay has reviews both ways. People say it's outdated, that it's not, they're like, it's kind of wonky. It's a 50s themed beach resort. It's supposed to look retro. And that's what people are commenting. It looks retro.
It looks beautiful from the pictures I saw that you took.
Yes, it's supposed to look retro. It's a 50 themed beach resort. They literally play 50 themed music all day. The size of the food court, you know how big the lobby of the Grand Floridian is?
Mm-hmm.
Triple that. And that's the size of the food court, the seating area at Cabana Bay.
Why is it so big? Is there a lot of rooms there?
There's over like 1,000 rooms. It is the biggest resort on Universal property. while we were there, we did deal with a lot of students there, but we had 2 or 3 different dance teams for the college football bowls while we were there. But they were great. The only time we really encountered them was at 6 a.m. in the line for Starbucks. All Universal Resorts have a Starbucks. You can it's similar to the ones on Disney property where you can earn stars, but you can use a gift card and earn stars, but you can't redeem them. I was really excited because I had been looking for this since Thanksgiving. The Christmas glitter reusable cup that Starbucks had out, they had one at Cabana Bay.
Nice.
And I looked at my receipt because I was in my head, I'm like, okay, this should have been like $4 more than it with adding this cup in. They had charged me for the cup and then couponed it out.
Oh, nice.
Well, because I was really nice to the gal, and the lady beside me was being really rude. But we got up about 4:00. It said that the vacation desk didn't open until we were up about. My alarm for my medication went off at 5:25, so we were up about 5, and we got up and we went ahead and drove over to Universal. We got checked in. Sam got the car moved to the short-term lot parking, which is where if you have a vehicle that you park until your room is ready and your key's been activated. And then you can park in the parking structure, or you can park in some.
They have a parking pass you put in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sam was in line I was in line for Starbucks, and I'm like, hey, the vacation planning desk opens at 6:30, so we can grab our tickets. And he's like, well, I'll stay in this line. And so he stayed in the Starbucks line, and he got me tea, and he got me a everything bagel with cream cheese, which I was really excited about because I was really hungry. And I got all of our tickets and everything situated that way. And we jumped on the bus and went to Island of Adventure because we had the breakfast with the Grinch. Again, it was the very last day for it. We had originally booked it for the 26th. We were going to do like a day at Universal with our old annual passes. But then when we decided to switch over and stay, they were able to move us over to the 29th for that breakfast. It is set up kind of cafeteria style. Well, the first thing we did was we went into the gift shop right at the entrance of Island of Adventure. They have a deal where if you put $300 on a merchandise gift card, this gift card can only be used for merchandise. It can't be used for food. It can't be used for Starbucks or anything like that. It can only be used on merchandise. It can be used on merchandise at the parks or at the gift shops in the resorts. If you put $300 on there, you get to pick a non-interactive wand, and they have 3 different ones. They have Ginny Weasley, Death Eater, and one other one. I highly recommend that if you think that you're going, think about what you want to purchase ahead of time. And if you're getting close to at least the $200, go ahead and put the $300 on that card, because we did, and we ended up spending a little over the $300.
You bought a $130 rope.
I did. I got my Hufflepuff robe. It was something that I've been wanting for a while, and I got it. But we used that card very randomly. We used it for everything that we purchased. We used it for Pepto-Bismol when Sam got food poisoning. Highly do not recommend getting the sushi at Volcano Bay.
Where'd you get the sushi at?
Volcano Bay.
Oh, I don't think I will say, if you go to Cowfish, their sushi's good.
Sam is now terrified of sushi. But we did the gift card. We rode the trolley in the sky, And I about had a heart attack because I didn't realize it was that high, and then it went over water. So that was an interesting experience.
Mhm.
And we kind of wandered around and
So
different.
now will you do the Skyliner?
No. From there we kind of just wandered around until it was time to get in line for our Grinch breakfast. They had a chia pudding, overnight oats, they had assorted fruit, and they had like little condiments for on top of the overnight oats. They had granola, they had chocolate chips, coconut, and banana chips. They had a green eggs and ham at breakfast pizza with tater tots. They had Cindy Lou Who's Who hash, and let me see, what was this one? Shakusha. I'm not quite sure what that was. It was kind of like a lasagna looking thing. They had mini croissants. They had ham, sausage links, eggs. They had green eggs, and they had biscuits for biscuits and gravy. Pancake. They had green pancakes. They had waffles. They had chicken tenders if you want to make chicken and waffles. They had a baked French toast. Then they had Grinch cookies, a little cookie that looks like a dog bone with Max's name on it, and a little like gingerbread spice cake. And then they had a green egg brownie pop, and that was really gross because I tried it. It was literally like this little. It looked like a green egg with a fork in it. And so I tried the white was literally white chocolate that was bitter, and the brownie was hard. So that was a little disappointing. They also had some sugared donuts. I got the Grinch punch to drink, and it was really, really, it was like pineapple juice mixed with sour mix from the bar. It was weird. And then we got to meet Sam and the Grinch, and those two, they had a photographer with them, and we got a little card, and you could link those to your My Universal Photos card and get those photos for free. And then I love this picture because I go, Sam, can I take your picture? And he came like right up to my phone. And then he loved that Sam's name was Sam. And so he didn't want to leave. He thought we were great. And then the Grinch came by, and the Grinch was funny. For one of the pictures, I posted it on, I think, my community tab, and he just like turned around and showed us his butt in the picture. And then they had like 4 different Who's coming around and talking, and it is a prepaid meal, prepaid gratuity. And so when you were done, you just gotta, like, once you saw Sam and the Grinch, which were the main characters, and you ate, you could just leave. From there, we walked over to Universal, to the studio side, and kind of hung out there for the afternoon. We watched the horror makeup show. We saw Marilyn. We saw Scooby and the Gang. We saw Olive Oil. And then right when we got over to, we went back to our room, and once we got our room, I'm like, well, maybe it's around, we ate lunch, and then I'm like, well, let's head back to the resort and see if our room is ready, because we haven't gotten a text yet, and we've been checked in since like 6 a.m. And literally as soon as we got on the bus to go back to Cabana Bay, we got a text that our room was ready. And we were in building 6. We were on the first floor in room 45, which was awesome because it was really super quiet and it was super close to Volcano Bay. So we got all of our luggage in, and we got kind of situated. And then the day kind of took a turn. We had known that Sam's mom was in the hospital and wasn't doing well. She hasn't been doing well all last year. She'd ended up with 2 brain surgeries. They'd had to resuscitate her, which they weren't supposed to do because she had a do not resuscitate. But they contacted us on Christmas Eve and told us that she was in the hospital.
Is she what?
She was in the hospital. And I'm like, do we need to go back? And Sam's like, no, there's nothing that we can do. So on the 29th, he got a phone call right as we were getting back into the parks, that his mom had passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So Sam's like, I don't want to do any pictures tonight. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I took a few pictures like right inside of studios, and I activated our cups for something to drink and got Sam some popcorn. And I'm like, it's too. He's like, we're gonna stay for the parade, and I go, and he's just kind of sitting there. I go, no, we're not. We're gonna go back to the room. It's 2 hours before the parade. And he's like, okay, that's fine. So we went back to the room. Sam went to the room for a little bit to make some phone calls, and I gave him space. I went to the food court and I got some dinner. And even if you aren't staying there, you need to go to Cabana Bay and get in line for the grill, because they fresh patty out and cook their burgers right there on the flat top. They aren't frozen. They are fresh, because you watch them like peel them apart. So I got a cheeseburger and fries, and it came with the vanilla milkshake, and that was an awesome burger. It was so good. Then we decided to kind of just, well, that's what we had for lunch. We had lunch at, okay, I'm messing up my timeline. We went back to the room and he made some phone calls. And I ate, and we laid by the pool. Then we went back that evening, and that's when we found out that his mom had passed. So Sam went back to the room, and I grabbed Sam a roasted sandwich, and I got the roasted turkey on like focaccia bread with the house-made chips. I was looking at my pictures and going, wait a minute, that timeline doesn't look right. But yeah, so that night was it was different.
Yeah.
So we got up the next day, and we had breakfast at the Today Cafe. We had the ham and cheese on the brioche bun. We did the Mummy like 4 or 5 times. And then we went into Diagon Alley. We took pictures with Earl the Squirrel. Sam really wanted to ride the Simpsons ride, so we rode that. And after the Simpsons ride, we had to go over and get Sprite, because we were both going, all right, we did the Mummy a couple times, then we went to Gringotts, then we did the Gringotts ride, then we did Transformers, then we did the Simpsons ride. So it was a lot of spinning and rolling, and we were like, our stomachs were like that. So grabbed Sprite with the reusable cups, and we sat there, and Sam went to go wait for the Born Spectacular. I had to go use the bathroom. I caught a parade. Saw Scooby and the Gang, Simpsons, and then we were right outside of the annual pass holder lounge where it was before it moved in studios, and there was this tent there, and I go, what's going on? I asked one of the team members, and they're like, oh, annual pass holders get a free churro today. And I'm like, cool, I'm an annual pass holder. So we got our free churros. They were good. I was happy. They're like, one of the ladies is like, where's the chocolate sauce? And they're like, we don't have chocolate sauce. And she's like, well, I don't want one. Like, I'm sorry, I'm taking the free $4 churro, you know? And then Marge was out. We ran into Beetlejuice, which is he meets like right around the horror makeup show. We had lunch at Mel's Diner, and then we went through the tribute store. I don't think the tribute store was as good this year as it has been in the past, but
it was the Christmas tribute store, right?
Right. We came out, and Marilyn her show still, but at least she wasn't with that. But she was out with the Diamond Bellas and the director for pictures, so we stopped and got pictures. Then we took pictures with Earl the Squirrel. And then we went to, I go, hey, I saw
Hey, Tucker, I'm going to go put her up.
Okay. I'll wait for you to come back. I'll eat a couple Cheez-Its.
Okay.
So the Cheez-Its that I'm eating, if anyone's wondering, are from Quest. They're the Quest cheese crackers. I've been wanting to try these since they came out with them. They're a protein. They've got 10 grams of protein in one little pouch, and they were on clearance for $5 at our local Walmart, but they don't expire until August. And I was really concerned, so I only got one box, but they are really good. Even Sam thought they tasted okay. I'll be right back. So they'll be, you can Sam can wait back. I was cooking up the furnace because it was getting a little cool. So if you are looking for a good protein snack and you're wanting like Cheez-Its or something, definitely try the Quest cheese crackers. They're really good. I'm picky on my Cheez-Its. So if I'm going, yep, it's pretty good, you know that they're a good Cheez-It. Like I said, it's pretty much the videos are going to be kind of what you're getting here, and then you're getting a photo montage for the trip. There are I've got a lot of shorts coming up too. So when I was looking at Cabana Bay online on the website, I'm like, hey, hun, guess what? They've got characters that meet in a lobby on Fridays, and this happened to be Friday. So I grabbed a drink. Sam needed to go do something at the room, and I can't remember exactly what it was. So we got off the bus, and Sam went back to the room, and I went up to the lobby area, which is where Swizzles is, which is the lounge inside of Cabana Bay. And I got the rum punch. This was a rum punch, which is like their specialty. And I sat at the bar, and they had a little minion out, and it switched off every 15 minutes with one of the penguins from Madagascar. And Sam, we didn't get any pictures together, because I would go and get my picture, and Sam would stay with our drinks at the bar, and then Sam would go get a picture, and I would stay with our drinks, and we sat there for a couple hours. And then we headed back into City Walk, and we had dinner at Anahito's, and we checked out the Hot Dog Hall of Fame. And they actually have, and if you've never been to the Hot Dog Hall of Fame, it's kind of tucked away, up by Anahito's, but they have original seats from different stadiums. Sam and I got the queso and the tableside guac. And from there, and we had some fajitas. They were okay. Our service was not good. I think our server forgot about us, to be quite honest. We kind of got stuck on the second floor, like in a corner. And so, like, we actually had to go find someone so we could get our ticket and go. From there, we headed over to Fat Tuesdays because I wanted to try their daiquiri, and I got their 24-ounce. They call it like a superhero. It was a layered daiquiri, and it is frozen. It was so cold that the straw froze to the lid. So, and then we went to the Coconut Club, which was renamed the Red and Green Coconut Club, and the American Sirens were performing. Hold on. I was sitting there going, I'm pretty sure that that's the American Sirens. No, it's not. Yes, it is. So I was like on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. The reason I kind of knew who they were is because they did Melakamiki Laka last year with Jeff Castellucci from Voice Play. And I go, and when they were taking a break, and I go, what is the name of your group? I want to follow you on Instagram. They go, oh, we're the American Sirens. I go, I knew it. I'm like, I thought so. I saw your video with Jeff Castellucci last year. So that was really cool. And they were really good. They do like the 50s, 60s style, 40s, 50s style. So if they're performing, make sure and watch them. They're great. New Year's Eve actually started out cloudy, foggy, and overcast. Here's the picture of the Universal Ball where we were from Islands of Adventure. We had to zoom in really far for that, but that was how foggy it was. We booked the exclusive package, which is the Harry Potter package, through Universal, which entitled us to Shutter Buttons, the Leaky Cauldron, and the 3 Broomsticks. And I had the 3 Broomsticks booked for New Year's Eve, and it's a breakfast voucher, and you get a drink and your meal with the voucher. So we got the English, we did not get the English breakfast. We got the American breakfast. It has croissants and potatoes and sausage and scrambled eggs. And I got I got pumpkin juice, and so did Sam. We wandered around Islands of Adventure. And then we headed back over to Studios where we got to be a minion. We got the whole Scooby gang. And it was really funny. Shaggy was talking about they were getting ready to go. They're like, they will be going in about 3 minutes. When they come back out after Scooby's had a snack, it'll just be Shaggy and Scooby. But we were able to see the whole gang. And Shaggy was like, I'm so hungry. Ah! And I went, ah! And I went back. We were like screaming back and forth at each other. And Fred's like, if you two don't stop, I'm putting you both in timeout. It was really funny. It was a great interaction with Shaggy and Scooby. At this point, it was looking really gray. It was still gray, still overcast. It showed rain in like the next half an hour. So we decided to go to the Hot Dog Hall of Fame and grab a bite to eat. And it was good. It just was you know that you're going to pay a little bit more for theme park food, but we really felt like you didn't get a value out of what you paid for at the Hot Dog Hall of Fame. It was good, but kind of not worth the price. So we went back to the resort, and because when we were there the night before, somebody had a card and left it, and we didn't get this when we checked in, of all of the holiday activities going on, and there were characters and live entertainment in the lobby starting at noon on New Year's Eve. So we got to see Gru, and we got to watch them work on setting up all of the balloons and stuff for the New Year's Eve party that night. And from noon to 6 o'clock, Tanner Johnson did the entertainment, live music in the lobby, and it was awesome. Gru was dancing to the music. He was really sad when he came back out and Tanner had left. We were all sad when Tanner left. If you are in the area and Tanner Johnson is playing, you can follow him on Instagram. Definitely go watch him. He's awesome. Sam went up to Galaxy Bowl because they have wings up there, and he got us a batch of wings and a batch of potato fries, and the wings were really good. And it comes with celery and carrots. And then for dinner, I had the salad, and they have a build your own salad bar for lunch and dinner, and it's paid by the ounce. And I had lettuce and chickpeas and mozzarella balls and shredded cheese and ham and avocado and onion and all kinds of stuff. And if you are a pass holder, your pass holder discount does work at the food, for the food courts at Universal as well. And Sam got the spaghetti and meatballs with breadsticks for dinner. There was supposedly a party in the lobby, but it was really more geared towards kids, and it was super loud. we did a couple years ago, 19 to 20, we did the New Year's Eve party at Pop Century, but it was outside. And so like it didn't echo as bad, but it echoed really bad. And so we were like, you know what? We're tired. We're going to bed. And so we walked from the lobby. We filled our drink cups because Universal has theme park mugs that you can activate that are in the park only. And then they have cups for the resorts, and each resort has their own cup. So like the difference is like at Disney, you can activate it at music, and you can use it at Wilderness Lodge and put the Poly or Port Orleans French Quarter. Universals don't work that way. Cabana Bays are only good at Cabana Bays. Sapphire Falls are only good at Sapphire Falls. And they don't switch between, like you can't use the resort ones at the theme parks and vice versa. So we came home with six resort mugs just that way. Not including my Fat Tuesday cup, my Marathon mug and water bottle. And you could still we were down the hallway and we were into the next building, and you could still hear the New Year's Eve stuff going on. I'm like, I'm so glad we're down farther, because the farther you got, the quieter it got. It was great. New Year's Day, we had breakfast in the food court. I got the fresh egg omelet, and a fruit cup. Sam got a waffle and a little mini Simpsons donut. We rode Jimmy Fallon, and when we got off Jimmy Fallon, so that was we got onto the Jimmy Fallon ride, the Tonight Show Jimmy Fallon, and we sit there, and they like reset everything, and we sat there, and they're like, this particular ride vehicle has went down, and people are like, oh, they're gonna give us an express pass. We're gonna get an express pass, and I'm like thinking it's not that big of a deal. We haven't been waiting very long. They're like, okay, everyone, we're going to go by row. You're going to go into the other theater and ride the ride in that theater. Okay, so we did that, and we got off, and they gave everybody an express pass. And what I wasn't okay with is that like I heard several other people do it. They're like, there's 4 people in my group, so they gave them 4 tickets. And they're like, another person with their group goes, oh, there's 4 people in my group, so they gave them 4 express pass. So like their group ended up with 4 express passes per person.
Wow.
Sam and I did the right thing, and we had 2 because there were 2 of us. And so we used them for the Minion ride later on. But when we got downstairs into the gift shop, hashtag the panda was out. And so we got pictures with hashtag, and hashtag did like a runway walk. It was really funny. We saw Earl the Squirrel again. We did the horror makeup show. The horror makeup show is not really horror makeup. It's like a silly, goofy show, but there is some the video clips they show could scare younger kids. There is some fake blood involved, so like be aware. We had a snack at Schwab's ice cream parlor, and then we went back to the resort. Scooby-Doo and Gru were meeting, so we hung out at the resort for a while. Then we went back so that we could catch the parade that night. Olive Oil and Betty Boop were meeting together. We shot the Shrek show. I live streamed the parade. Thank you for anyone who watched the parade. And then we got some dinner to go, and we ate in the room. And that's only New Year's Day.
And I'm almost done.
So, the rest of it, you'll have to watch videos to find out what happens next.
I like it when you can talk the whole stream because it lets me focus. Focus and listen at the same time. It's easier to do makeup on a live stream when I have a partner on here. That's why lately, if you're not available, I've just been recording. I'm like, man, I'll just record. No big deal.
Something I will note, and I don't like this. The Coca-Cola when the Coca-Cola store stopped with the pandemic and the shutdown, the polar bear meat is just coming back. And before, you would scan your magic band and the photos would go onto your memory maker. But now it's a separate third party, and it is $30 for the photo. You can take selfies with the Coca-Cola bear, but the team members working there cannot take them for you. They cannot touch your phone. And the people that work there are like, you need to buy this photo. You need to buy this photo. To me, it's the equivalent of a timeshare presentation.
Yeah, kind of.
The guy working that night was super rude. So they give you this like little postcard after you see the polar bear, and then the guy like literally ripped it out of my hand, and I'm like,
hi,
serious?
Welcome in.
Hey, 2 Real Geeks. And so I was like less than impressed by that. I'm like, oh, I just need to tap my magic band so it can attach to memory. He goes, we don't do that anymore. It is $30 and you need to buy this photo. And I'm like, I'm sorry, no.
Right. I'm not paying $30 for a photo.
That was the cheap photo. That was a 4x6.
That's insane.
I'm like, no thanks. But yeah, it was just crazy.
So how do you like it? Does it look Valentine's Day?
It looks creepy Valentine's Day.
I got a heart down here and a heart here. And then my teeth are parted.
2 Real Geeks. That's at the Coca-Cola store in Disney Springs.
Yeah, I like the rooftop bar. I actually don't think I ever have seen the Coca-Cola bear there.
The Coca-Cola bear meets for like 45 minutes every hour. So like 12, 1, 2, and then it's like a 15-minute break.
Okay.
But yeah, I was like, no.
I wouldn't pay $30 for it either.
It left a really bad taste in my mouth, and
kind of like the Beverly.
Oh, see, I tried the Beverly over the summer and I didn't think it was that bad, but I also had been drinking the Royal Watermelon beforehand, so I still had a little bit of that watermelon taste in my mouth.
There's one of them that tastes like barbecue sauce.
2 Real Geeks, they used to be. You used to be able to scan your magic band and your photos would go onto your memory maker. So that's how it was when they first opened, and it was like right before the shutdown. So after the shutdown, they've obviously changed it. But yeah, they were pretty rude.
Well, I'm done with my look, and
it looks fantastic.
I can't wait to hear the rest of your trip because that's only like to New Year's, and you were there for what, 2 weeks after that, or a week and a half after that?
A week after that, because we left on the 7th. So there's still theme parks and marathon stuff. If you're looking for any of the Run Disney stuff, that's going to be on the other channel, Lena's Weight Loss Diary. All the Run Disney information stuff will be on the other channel.
I saw some of your pictures from Run Disney. Hey, let me ask you this.
Sure.
When did you go to get your run stuff and then to go to the expo?
Wednesday. We went
Was
Wednesday.
That the first day it was open?
Yes. The way that it now works is that to get into the merchandise area, you have to be in a virtual queue. And it opens up, at least ours did, 8:30 the first day. The first day, there's no queue line, like physical queue line. It's all virtual queue. And so we got it and it opened at 8:30 and we were refreshing. Sam and I were both waiting to hit, like we were refreshing. We felt like Big Bang Theory where they're trying to get Comic-Con tickets, refresh. And we got in to group 67 and we got in about 1:00. And we went ahead and drove over to the ESPN Center and got in line for our bibs and about 2 hours ahead because it opened at 10 to pick up bibs. And we were like, there was probably at least a couple hundred people ahead of us, and it was 2 hours ahead. So I don't know what time some of these people got in line. But we probably hadn't been in line maybe 10, 15 minutes when the whole switchback was full. And a couple of the customers were like, I don't understand. I've never seen the line for bibs like this. I'm like, and I go, it's because you put the merchandise into a virtual queue. We were all over there. Now we're over here.
So I was reading, and it said that the best thing to do is to wait until about 2 hours before they close and go get your bib pickup if you're not worried about merchandise running out. And I think that's what I'll do.
We enjoy the expo experience. We got our bibs. You pick up your bibs in one location, and then you go over to the Visa Center, and that's where you pick up your shirt and your gear check bag if you want to use it for that. And then they have vendors in that same building, like Dasani was a huge sponsor, and they had these little bottles of water, and once you drank the bottle of water, you could put into this recycling machine, and you got a ticket. And then you got to spin a wheel and get a prize. And Sam and I got these big, huge, deep, beach like tote bags, which actually came in handy the next day at the run, because you get some people like, have you done a Run Disney event before?
Virtual. This one in February will be my first in person, and that's why I think I'm going to go 2 hours before they close, because I don't like those big long lines. I don't care to stand in them. Two Real Geeks just said, no, Run Disney, that makes a mess of traffic.
It does. It makes for a huge, the Run Disney traffic is crazy. I like going to look at the merch and stuff. Like this mug is causing a lot of controversy. They pulled it because it's missing the castle above the M.
Oh.
So they ended up pulling them. And I have a mug, and it's mine, and they can't have it back. This mug is now going for like $300 on eBay.
Oh wow!
Not gonna lie. But the way when you do the event at the end of the race, they're going to hand you Powerade and bottled water and a banana and a snack box, and there's pictures before and there's pictures after. I wore my Loungefly for the whole 5K, and I stuffed a tote bag in there with some other stuff because they give you so much stuff that like you're juggling it. And so I recommend if you can do it is to wear some sort of bag, because Gear Check ended up closing early every morning. And I would rather have my stuff with me. Personally, that way I can grab a coffee from Joffrey's afterwards. I grabbing pictures, that kind of thing.
Is like right after you pick up your package.
Gear check is the following morning, so you will need to be at the race transportation section by 2 a.m. because the buses will start loading at 2:30 to leave by 3 o'clock, and sometimes they'll leave early. And then it's literally 3 miles from where they drop you off at the security at Epcot to walk to where the starting gate is. So you literally will walk a 5K prior to your 5K.
Nice.
And then they'll have lines for characters and coffee and stuff there. We stood in line and got a picture with Minnie, and then went and got in our corral. And it will start out with Roll Disney, which is the wheelchair athletes, and then the athletes with disabilities, and then corral A, B, C, D. And there's like 3,000-4,000 people in each corral, and they do it in waves. And we stepped off at 5:30, and we finished in an hour. The character spots, people aren't following the old style of etiquette where you snap and go. People are taking 6 or 7 pictures, and then they want a selfie, and then they want a picture. I ended up just taking selfies or pictures and going on because the lines are so long. So if you're doing it to meet characters, there's a 90% chance you're going to get a picture with other people in it and keeping going. And then afterwards, the same characters were out for meets. For the 5K, it was Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy, and like running outfits. And we stood in line for Daisy afterwards because it was actually the shortest line. And we snacked on stuff out of the snack box, and then we got a coffee, and then they had some step and repeats with like little paddles that said "I did it," and so we got those pictures, and then we got on our bus, went back, cleaned up, and went to Animal Kingdom. I clocked 15 miles the day of the 5K.
Okay. All right. So,
and that was all. And we were back at the resort by about 7:30.
That's helpful to know that I probably need to take a bag with me.
So. If you like. So like I said, I just used my Loungefly because it's small and pretty lightweight. If you're planning to, some people wore like a fanny pack, and you could do the same thing with like a fanny pack and like a Walmart sack and stuff it in there with your phone and stuff. I had my phone in my leggings pocket because I did some video. I took some, photos and that kind of thing as I went. But it was a much better experience this year than it was last year. Yeah, those 85 pounds really did make a difference.
Yeah, weight does make a difference for sure.
Last year it was 2.5 hours, and I was miserable. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't hardly function. This year afterwards, stayed for pictures, got coffee, got several different pictures. Then we went back, changed, and we went to a theme park afterwards. So, completely different night and day.
Yeah, that's my Universal day on that day. So I like it because I'm never concerned about rope dropping at Universal. I mean, I have an annual pass. I don't care as long as I can just do like rock the Rip Ride Rocket, and then also the Velocicoaster and the Harry Potter stuff. I'm good.
Are you driving over from where are you staying?
At that point, I'll be at French Quarter because I'm staying at 3 different resorts while I'm there.
Okay. Yeah, there will be a sign out front. Like, it'll show you where race transportation is supposed to be. So, and there'll be a big poster in the lobby. Typically, it's by the
2 a.m. because I was thinking 3, but 2. Okay.
The first bus will leave by 3 a.m. and you want to be on that first bus because you have to go through security. You have to get in line with everybody else, go through security, and then if you want those photos, you want to be on that first bus. You don't want, because it's not the normal Disney bus drivers who are driving. You get like motor coach buses, and they really aren't super familiar with the routes of where to go. So you want to be on that first bus because typically the first bus knows how to get there.
Okay.
The ones after that, you can't guarantee it.
Two Real Geeks said Universal is still a lot of walking as well. People forget about all the walk through City Walk. Yeah, it is a lot of walking.
It is.
Which, I mean, I'm used to it. I've got my moleskin already. So I bought some moleskin the other day.
We did photos at Universal with our medals and stuff. Yeah, the buses are hired buses. They have no idea where they're going. They get lost very easily. So definitely make sure you're on that first bus, because the later you get, they will close the corrals each corral will close X amount of time before and then they'll start moving people through to the starting area. And so
do they open the parks later on those days, or do people just run while the park is open?
Depends on what race you are looking at. The 5 and 10K are done prior to park opening. So like the 5K isn't technically timed, but at some point they will close the character lines, or they will say, "I'm sorry, we're about to have to take you to the front." But we were done by 6:30. We were through the finish line, and then we were able to do all the other stuff. Like I said, waiting for the picture with Daisy, getting coffee. If you can get it from Joffrey's, you want the game changer. It's iced coffee with Irish cream and something else in it. And it is amazing. Like, it was so good.
They said, Two-Year-Old said, I don't even want to talk about how much walking I do at night at work at Universal. Oh, you work at Universal?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll see you when I'm there.
I was there for a week and a half and never saw them.
Well, maybe I'll see you when I'm there. I'm there next month, February.
But I highly make sure that you are ready for that first bus. Because people don't just take pictures with the characters. Like, people have amazing costumes at the 5.
Did you see mine? You probably did.
I have not.
I don't have the tutu on in this picture, but I do have a tutu as well.
Like, there's a guy and he has an Instagram called Jogging Jack Sparrow, and I missed him at the 5K, but he started following me on Instagram, and I was like, ah! So that was fun. So this is what my bib looked like for the 5K. They will give you little safety pins to go with it. You need to make sure that your bib is like in prominent view, so that and make sure that it's not all curled up. Oh yeah, I did see that one. It's from Crowning Athletics.
Yeah.
Right? Make sure to take a picture of your bib beforehand, because you can like upload it to like Vistaprint, and then you can get like your own little personalized coffee mug with your bib. And then there's codes on the back, and obviously this one is for marathon weekend, but that's how you upload it into your memory maker for your race photos. And there are tons. Be polite. Don't run in front of people. That's why you didn't
see him. He's a ride tech at Universal and works overnights in the park.
Oh, I sent Two Real Geeks a message that I was going to be there, and they never responded.
They were probably busy.
They probably were. They're all over now. And they're also Disney Pass holders now. I saw that on their Instagram.
Oh, cool.
They started the New Year's out in Hollywood Studios, I think it was. But yeah, make sure to, and I linked our bibs like while we were at the expo, and somebody be very, very careful with your bib, because at the expo and at bib pickup is when it's the highest time that people can take pictures of your bib and then run as you instead of you. So there are people who will take like a folder, like a school folder, and once they get their bib, they slide it in the folder and then put it in their bag so that people cannot take their bib.
Good to know.
And
all great information for someone that's doing their first in-person Disney ride in a month.
Mm-hmm.
You should post that. You should do your.
I did.
You've already posted it?
I've done some videos over on the other channel, yeah.
Yeah, like tips and tricks and stuff, and post it before the next run. Yeah.
I am.
Never got the message.
Oh, no!
All over the place. And yes, we are Walt Disney World AP now. Also, we just put an MK vid up, and we'll be at Epcot this week. Cool.
Oh, no. That's okay. No big deal.
I'll be down there in like 34 days.
I know. I'm really excited for you. Like, maybe what we need to do is we need to plan a night where we do like a Run Disney stream.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could talk all Run Disney any makeup day, because I sit there and do makeup and we talk.
Oh yeah. Maybe you need to put like something on your community tab and like find out like questions that people have.
Yeah, I can do
that. I am by no means an expert. Like let's get that.
But you've done like 2 now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this was my second one.
You have the insight of people that do like 5Ks, because I'm not looking to get people's advice that do marathons and half marathons, and they're like, yeah, you got to train. Like, no, I want I want the information from the people that, you know, go do the 5Ks and have tips and tricks for that. And
I will say that they talk about a runner's high, and it is so true, because like after you complete it, you feel invincible. And like, and I was telling this yesterday to Sam, I go, I could, like, you feel so good about it. You're like, I could do the dopey. Like I could do that. And then in your brain, you're going, Lena, you're crazy. You're not an athlete. You're stupid. You can't do the dopey.
I've
I could
done
do
a
that.
half before, and it's exhausting.
I'm like,
I stick to the 5 and 10 ones.
I know I couldn't. Like, I know that I physically couldn't do it, but like you are on such like an euphoric high, and like then you're watching people like that you follow like on social media and that you've met, you know, like I happened to be waiting on my virtual queue at Wild World of Sports, and I saw Kristen with running and makeup, and I'm like, I thought I saw that.
Yeah.
And I completely fangirled over the fact that I got to meet her and her friend Tara in person. I was like, ah! But like you watch these people and like them completely, you're like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. I want to have that feeling. And then you're going, no, Lena, you can't do that. Quit. So I'm going to stick with my 5K.
Yeah. I don't do more than 10 miles.
And registration for marathon weekend next year is April 11th, I think. It's the Tuesday right after Easter, just like it was last year. Let me look. No.
Well, we're going to end the stream because previous conversations, these headpieces start to hurt my head.
They should hurt. Yeah,
we're getting there. I'm like, I'm going to start zoning out and be like,
You'll really be a Halloween Valentine's zombie.
I'm like, yeah, we need to get this stream because my head is starting to hurt. I really appreciate all the information. Talking 2 hours really while I did makeup. So this is really, it was like a Lena stream, which is why I did put her name in the stream title, because I knew that she would probably be giving us a lot of information and a lot of feedback on like all of her special events that she got to go to during Christmas and the runs and stuff. And we'll do another makeup. I don't know if we'll do it this week. But if we do, we do. I've been really, really busy at work and haven't been able to get off in time to do them in the evenings. But everybody that has come in or is watching this on a replay, go check Lena out. Give her some props for discussing all the stuff that she did today, because it was very insightful and very interesting to hear and know that, you know, Universal's kicking it up with their holidays more so than Disney does, and it's definitely good to hear. So thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks so much, guys.
Lena's link is in the description. I think that's only the Hall of Fame Adventures link. I haven't added her weight loss one. So I'll
go into YouTube I'll pop it in. I'll pop it in chat real quick. I actually I worked on a TikTok on New Year's Eve, and I titled it "Watch Me Lose 85 Pounds."
I saw it.
It has over 50,000 views.
Yeah,
I gained over 115 subscribers from that short.
Wow, that's awesome.
So yeah,
and so it's the right people to join your to get
right. The funnier part about it is I'm at the point, and I know your head started to hurt. The funnier part is looking to see how many people dislike the short. It's like over 200 people who have disliked it, and I'm like, thanks for the engagement.
Right, thanks for the engagement. They also say you shouldn't really delete your negative comments, but I always do.
Well, and I know that's probably, but like some of them were like downright rude. Like somebody posted something like, you should get your money back because you look the exact same as you did in January. I'm like, no, I don't. I know I don't. So like, but I posted on my community tab. I'm like, if you can't say anything nice, please don't be on this channel, because your remarks will be deleted, because this is a positive space.
Yeah, I have like it doesn't typically happen on my live streams or my videos where I get negative comments. It's always on my shorts. So
Mm-hmm.
I have it to where every single comment is held for review. And
Yeah.
if I don't like the comment, I'm just like delete, because I'm not there for that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's about positivity, because if somebody is looking for help on their weight loss journey, whether they're doing Weight Watchers, whether they're doing keto, whether they're doing watching calories or something, they're looking for a safe space to land. And I want my channel to be that. I want it to be that for someone else.
Yeah.
Because when I was getting started, I couldn't find that safe space. I couldn't find those YouTube channels. So I want my channel to be that for someone else.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. Yeah. People are mean these days for no reason at all. I think you look great. Me and Sami actually talked about that backstage. We might have done it on our live stream when we did live stream last week. We were like, she looks so cute, and we were loving all your pictures.
I get Ginger from Just Ginger has been messaging me about, like, asking me questions about the 5K and stuff. And she's like, yeah, I talked about you on my live stream yesterday. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I've got to go back and rewatch her live stream and see what we're talking about. So, like, I think we're going to be like accountability partners or something.
That's good.
So she's wanting to register, and I will be doing a live stream the day of registration over on my Lena's Weight Loss Diary channel. I don't know if you're still working from home or not.
Yeah, I do. So. I go in every now and then, and in April, it should be mostly back to normal in April, because I have one employee out right now, and then the other one's going out, and neither of them will be back till March. And then, and I have a work trip at the end of March, so everything should be back to normal by April.
So yeah, we'll be live. I'll be live streaming just like I did last year. Hopefully it doesn't go down for 3 hours, but I'm taking the whole day off of work again, just in case.
Yeah. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Go check out both of Lena's channels. Definitely, if you want more information on Disney and or Run Disney, remember that we are very much our 5K type runners. We are not the marathon runners. So our take is slightly different than a marathon runner. So if you are a marathon runner, you probably won't have interest. But if you're like new into running and stuff, you'll definitely have interest. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out in the chat, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.